see how you get on and just go with the flow. It's a quiet morning today, bank holiday, so we'll set you up for that holiday, that lovely weekend off. So we're going to start in belly breath. So lie down flat on your mat, have a cushion if you want to, and just rest your head back on the floor. Rest your whole body and just settle into a breath that's comfortable for you. Thank you, Owen. And just focus on your breath. Taking some long, slow breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Just feeling your body relaxing, but not going into full relaxation. And we're just taking some time to focus our bodies before we start moving into some bigger movements. And just set your intention towards your wellness today. Setting up for the weekend ahead to be the very best that you can be. Taking a long breath in, through, right down to the belly. And then out through the nose. Just focusing on that breath, but focusing on it as a revitalizing breath, giving you energy. Taking a couple more long, slow breaths in through the nose, filling the belly, and long breaths out. And then we're going to roll over onto our sides and come into a seated position. And just sitting upright if you can. So tucking your flesh away so you can sit right up on those sit bones and feel that pull in through the belly. Okay, so almost sitting forwards. So wiggling, jiggling, sitting forwards, and we come into a little twist. So we start with thumbs and forefingers together, popping the fingers on the chin and the thumbs onto the chest. Drop those elbows down. So relaxing the elbows right down to the floor, so touching your sides almost. And then we start to rotate. So you won't go very far. Sending that elbow back, 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 and then come to the front again. So quite a small movement. And rotate the other way, but relaxing those shoulders, taking your eye gaze with you, keep breathing. You might feel just a stretch through the ribs. Go with it. Keep those shoulders relaxed and drop down, and just take your time here. All of these movements today are quite slow and controlled. Keep the breath going. Trying to get that elbow further round each time. If you feel any discomfort, then just make that movement a little bit smaller so that you can manage the movement. Lovely. And then we're going to come into the seated saw. So drop your hands and arms come out. And we still make that rotation. This time the hand comes to the outside edge of the ankle as we lean forwards and the back arm pushes away behind you. So you're in like a diagonal rotational twist. Lifting up, come to center and reset. Relax those shoulders down, and then we come to the other side. So sometimes it helps to just rotate the hand behind you, depending on those shoulders. Sometimes it helps to turn that hand behind you. It takes the tension out of the shoulder if you've got some tightness. Come back up and release, drop those shoulders, wiggle, jiggle, and rotate and lean. So eye gaze kind of comes between the hands, thinking about that head neck in neutral the whole time. And keep it going. So a little stretch, reach into the outside of that foot. Coming up to center, breathing, keep that breath going. Lovely, keep going. Can you go a little bit further? Can you push that hand behind you, back a little bit more? So you've got a lovely stretch from the fingertips of one hand to the fingertips of the other. And then can you press on the outside of that foot to just give you a little bit more rotation? And just one more each side. So push against that hand, push against the foot, push the hand back, and I gaze with you. And one more to the other side. Lovely, good. And then we're just going to take our feet behind us and we come into a knee drop. So feet are wide, okay? I'm just going to come back a bit. So feet are wide, knees are bent, and sit upright again. So, and you might recognize this move, but go with it. So we're going to drop the knees to the other side. So take your time here. Okay, as you come to the side, take your hand behind you and see if you can drop that knee to the floor. Using your breath to bring you back to the other side. Take the hand behind you, drop both knees. If you can, Chris, be careful with this one. See how you go, do what you can. Yeah, if you need to, take your hands behind you to just help you, because it's quite a lot of forward flexion, so lovely. If you need to adapt, then just take that hand behind you so you can rest back a little bit. Otherwise, if you haven't got hip things going on, try and move over side to side through those muscles in the core. Lovely. Okay, we're going to add in that press. So take your hands round in front of the thighs, push or lower the face down to the floor, big push off through the heels of the hand and come to the other side. So rotation, little press too. Working through the ribs, the waist. So using the whole body here. Lovely, and one more to the other side, and then you might need to shufty back a bit. So let's hip walk back. So hip walk is amazing. It's one of our best movements that we can do. Hip walking just by bottom shuffling. Okay, we're coming into a little pigeon pose. Chris, we're going to have to adapt this for you probably, so I'll show you what it looks like. So we start here. So in that position we were just in the last movement. So we start with one foot in front of us, and if you can get 90 at the knee, great. If not, don't worry. So the leg behind is the one that we're working on. So we take our weight forwards and we try and pull that leg backwards. Pull, so that, and then we come onto that front leg. So pigeon pose. Chris, I'll think of something for you to adapt. And we hold it here, so we're looking at stretching through the hip, and then if you want to, you can just lower down, but you don't have to. Chris, if you can maybe sit with your back, with your operated hip just straight out, can you bend the other knee and just pull that heel into the bottom? And then when you stay there for a little while, and then do what you can with the other leg without rotating it. You might need to support it, so just to get a little bend. Otherwise, everybody else into that lovely pigeon pose. So the aim is to try to get that leg right behind you, straight behind you if you can. If you can't, just adapt. And then we wiggle jiggle those hands down. So a really lovely hip stretch. And if you can bring that foot closer, further away from your body, flexing through the foot, then even better. Keep breathing through it. And then we're just going to push up on the hands and just sit onto that hip. So sit and try and push the toes away behind you a little bit more, and then flex that foot at the front. So bring the toes up and then push up with the chest. So we're not kind of slouching, we're really opening out the chest here. Keep breathing, and then we're going to change sides. So we swivel that leg in front of you, and you'll find that one side is more mobile than the other. You'll be more flexible. So just start with that knee bend, 90 at the knee if you can, 90 at the ankle. And then we start to wiggle jiggle that other leg behind, and your leg will come in unless you're super, super flexible. I'll try and go on the side for you. And we have to come onto the leg that's in front of you really, and we're trying to get that leg, the other leg, right behind you. So we feel a stretch, not only in the hip of the knee that is bent, but also the front of the hip of that leg that's behind you. And for some, just sitting here is enough. And then wiggle. So wiggle jiggle into that movement. Feel that hip just relaxing, releasing a little bit with each move. Lovely. And then we're going to just drop the elbows, allow the hands, elbows to come down to the floor. Keep moving that hip. Keep going. Wiggle jiggle in. And then can you allow your body to drop closer to the floor? You might not. Keep breathing. Keep moving if you like that sensation. And then we push back up. So push back up onto the hands. Focus on that leg behind you. Push it away long. Push through the hands. Chris, if you want to pop your hands behind you and then really open out the chest. That's it. And then squeeze the bottom. Squeeze the bottom, open out the chest, push through. That's it. Send that leg away behind you. And then come back to sitting. Whoa. And then just rest, release, relax. How does that feel? That's quite strong into the hips, into the groins. So just give you a second to wiggle jiggle. Okay, then we're going to come into kneeling. So we're going to set yourselves up onto your knees. I'll come to an angle. And when our feet are turned underneath us. Okay, see how you go. Some people prefer this in a flat foot, but I prefer it with feet bent and toes underneath. But you can try either position. Okay, so we're going to brace around our core. Okay, we're going to use the core muscles and the fronts of the hips to help us here. And to start with, we're just going to take our weight backwards into the toes. Try to think about a long spine. So you've got a kind of a piece of string from your knees to the crown of your head, and we're just lowering back and coming forwards. And just go within your own capabilities. So we lean back and let your eye gaze do its own thing. So you kind of, as you tip back, your eye gaze is lifted higher. So towards the corner of the ceiling, where the ceiling meets the wall. Okay, and then we add in the arms. So send those hands forwards. We lean back, and the hands lift slightly and come to center and release if you need to. Relax those shoulders. Use your breath. Whoop, and try not to lose your balance forward. So keep going. Control it. Pull the belly in. Good. And then we're going to add in. So try it. If you find it uncomfortable, try it with a flat foot. You might be able to get a little bit further. It's stronger into the thighs though, so see how you go. This one is one of those exercises you can feel the next day, believe me. So we're going to add in here. So into bow and arrow. So as we come back, the elbow comes with you. We lead with the elbow, and then you lift, reach forwards and change sides. So the other elbow comes back and you come up to center. And just keep going, alternating those arms, leading with the elbows. So working through the core. That's it. Working through the fronts of the thighs. And think about pulling forwards. So pulling and lifting those hands forwards and then dropping and the elbows coming down in the opposite direction. So working diagonally through the body as well. So lower, lean, drop the elbow, pull up, lower, lean. Good, keep it going. Alternate those feet if you want, so tuck them under again. See how that feels now. You've got used to it. Can you go back a little more? Or does it restrict you? How are your shoulders feeling? Are you getting some more movement through them? Lovely. And release. Okay, we're going to make our way up to standing. So take your time, come up to standing, drop the head. Drop the head, lifting the heels, rolling up, roll the shoulders and pump those heels. And we will be back on the floor, but just not yet. So we're going to take a wide stance. So your heels are kind of level. If you're wobbly here, take your back foot forward so you've got a wider base of support. Okay, but see how you go. So the wider the better, really. Turn your hips forwards, so your hips are facing me, chest is facing me. And then we're going to just take our weight through the front foot with the toes turned out towards the side. Okay, and I'll show you from the front because I'll show you what happens sometimes when we're not can you see? When we're not focusing, the knee, thank you, the knee can come in, and I want you to really think about bringing it in line with the foot and the hip. And we reach, thank you. So see how you go. So work through that steadiness, relax the shoulders, turn your shoulders and hips again, face me. So set up and then bring them back to the front. Lean into that front leg, knock that knee out. And then just lift. So you can see that as I'm leaning forwards, my torso is twisted, so I'm going to bring it to the front. Okay, quite a lot of tension through that front leg. Knock that knee out. So we're just going to stay here, and I want you to focus on pulling that knee back, then lengthen through those arms. I'm a bit lopsided. Lengthen, push through those fingers. Lean, lean, and then come back. Bring that front hand up, drop the back hand, just lift that hand overhead. Release. Straighten the legs for a release. Reset the torso, the chest, so it's facing me, facing the front. Breathe, relax the shoulders. Bend through that front leg again. So turn the chest to me. So reset, and you can feel that into the waist behind you at the side. Reach forwards. Reach, and then lift that front arm, drop the back arm, bend through the front arm, eye gaze up towards the hand, and straighten the leg, release those hands, turn the toes, bring those feet in, and just have a little march. So could you feel that through the waist? So quite a lot of work through the waist, but strength through those legs as well. So we're going to come to the other side. So again, a nice wide setup. Take your time here. So heels at the same, heels level if you want to, or stepping forwards. Chris, you might want to step forwards. It might just take that pressure off the hips. Okay, and then reset those, the waist, the chest, because naturally we want to turn. So I want you to bring it all in line. Relax the shoulders. And then we bend through that knee. Lift the arms and push away. So really focusing on bringing the shoulders in alignment, so the shoulders line up with the feet, rather than allowing that one shoulder to come forwards. Relax the shoulders, come into that stretch, reach, reach, reach. Lovely. Hand at the front comes up, hand behind drops, eye gaze to that hand, knocking that knee out, remember, lining up the knee with the foot, dropping the hand, lifting back to neutral, straightening that knee, resetting the chest and the waist, belly. Breathe, relax the shoulders. Come again, so focus on that knee now. So bring that knee out if you need to. Lean forwards. Lovely. Then drop that hand behind you. Lift the hand up to the sky. Eye gaze through into the palm. Hands come back. We straighten that leg. Reset the torso in the chest. Breathe. Relax those shoulders. Bring that foot in and just stay in that wide stance. Roll through those shoulders. Soften the knees and roll. Lovely. And then one shoulder, other shoulder. Just rolling, releasing, getting those shoulders all buttery. Lovely. Bringing those feet in a little bit into hip width and then rolling those shoulders again. So making a big movement with those elbows. Lovely. Good. Okay, send those hands in front of you into a wide beach ball. So you've got a beach ball, somebody's blowing it up. And we're just going to drop the chin to chest. Sending those hands wide, wider. Feeling that lovely stretch into the shoulder blades, but releasing off the shoulders. And then hands come to neutral. Okay, feet come in, narrow. So feet together. Have a drink if you need to for a second, because warrior is quite hard on the shoulders, I think. It's quite strong through the shoulders, strong through the hips. So feet together, and we're coming into chair pose now. So this is lovely for leg strength. So we're going to send the bottom back and just work with it. And it might be that you just stay in this position just momentarily, and hands come lifted above your shoulders. So your bottom's stuck out to the back. I'll show you from the side. So here, feet are together, bottom pushes back, hands lift, but then tuck the bottom under. So your bottom's not stuck out, to protect your spine, your lower back, and hold. And just for as long as you can. You might start to get shaky muscles in the legs. And then lift. Hold it there. Just wiggle one leg, straighten one leg, bend the other leg. It's work in progress. Do we like chair pose? Not sure. Okay, let's go again. So bend the knees, bend at the hips. So hinge from the hips, bend the knees, arms raise. Relax through the shoulders and breathe. Squeeze those thighs together. Tuck the bottom under. Breathe. And just hold. Focus. Focus on a point in front of you, maybe. And rise. Wiggle, jiggle. So lift and shift. Lift one hip, push one hip out. Then the other. So just moving, releasing, breathing. We're going to go one more time. If you can. I'm going to watch you this time. So feet together. Relax those shoulders. Squeeze the thighs. Bend at the knees. Bend through the hips. Send those hands up in front of you. Push those fingers away. Tuck the bottom under. Can you go a little bit lower? You might not be able to, and that's fine. So you can see my knees are squeezing, my thighs are squeezing. I'm breathing, I'm tucked under. release, lift, and walk those legs out. Walk them out and give them a little leg shake. That's it. Little shaky legs. Grab a drink. Still in standing. Still in standing. So a little bit of balance here. And we all need to work on balance, right? Especially me. So, toes out to the side. And then again, we're going to turn and face the chest, belly to me. So chest and waist to me. We're going to start to tip. So we're going to open the hands, palms facing me. We're going to bend that front leg. Take the back leg further away now. We're going to send our hand towards the floor in front, and we're going to come onto the tiptoes behind us. Okay, now I've got a dodgy shoulder. Actually, I've got two dodgy shoulders now. So I'm going to take my top arm. It's just going to come behind me. So the hand is going to rest on my ribs. And the idea is we're going to lift the foot behind. We're going to send the hand to the floor. And we're going to just hold. And we're going to try and open out the chest. So we lift that elbow, lift the arm up. Let me try with my arm. There. Spread those toes out on the floor. Weight through the big toe, second toe. Told you I was rubbish. Come out of it. Yeah, I'm not very good at that. I think it's talking, demonstrating, and breathing. That's my excuse. We're going to stay on the same side. Really good, ladies. Very good. So the aim is, let me show you from side, is to stay in a line. So as we kind of take the leg behind us off, we lift the hand behind us and drop the other hand. And if you need to keep that hand, the toe on the floor for now, you can. Keep practicing. Come out and wiggle, jiggle, shake, and you'll get better. So I'm going to start with my hand up because I've got a shoulder pain. I'm going to start with it up and see. So we need to work with our bodies, right? They don't always do what we want them to. So it's going with what we can do. Keep breathing. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. So strength through the legs and come back down. Okay, we're going to try the other side. So hopefully I'll be better on the other side. Go with it, see what happens. So set yourselves up. So front leg bent, hand in front is going to come down. Okay, hand behind. See where you want to, see where it feels best. And start with the hand tucked behind the back if you want to. And then progress. So lifting and lowering. And play with the eye gaze. Eye gaze needs to be lifted really. Ooh. That's it, lovely. If you need to put your hand on something, maybe try that. That might just give you that little bit of support. I'm going to watch you because I'm not demonstrating very well today. But you know, it's okay. It's okay to not be, you don't have to be perfect. It's always work in progress. And different things will make you different on different days. So have you drunk enough water? Have you stretched enough? Lovely. I used to be really good at this. I used to teach a class with this in it, and I was really good at it. So it just goes to show, doesn't it, that when you don't practice, it's not that you deteriorate, your bodies just get used to not doing it. Okay, and rest out. Okay, so you need to find a wall, and I'm just going to use the back wall for a minute. And we're just going to come into a wall squat. So actually I'll go to the side because we've got lights there. So, and I need to be careful of the lovely curtains, our lovely curtains here. So we're going to rest your bottoms against the wall, adjust where you need to, and we're going to slide or walk your bottom down the wall. So lots of leg strength here. And we sit and we push down through the heels and the balls of the feet. Come out of it at any time. If you can, pull the belly in. So you're almost pulling the belly in towards the wall. Relax the toes. Breathe. And then getting out of this can be quite tricky. So I'm going to push against the wall and lift up and march those heels. How does that feel? Is that hideous or is it okay? Good. Let's go again then. All right, Chris, good. So it's working the thighs, the core in a different way. So I've just got to be careful of our lovely backdrop. So, and if you want to make it easier, just come up the wall a little bit. So you can start higher, and we're going to work with this over a few weeks. And as you get stronger, you can walk yourselves lower down the wall. Breathe and relax the shoulders and feel your body against the wall. Can you feel your lower back, so the back parts of the pelvis pushing against the wall? Does it feel even? And can you feel the bottom of the ribs pushing against the wall, or just touching or not quite? Or is one touching and the other isn't? And what about the bottom of the shoulder blades and the shoulder blades and the back of the head? Do you feel even? Or do you feel quite unbalanced? Just try and get that evenness through the body. And then we come out of it, push against that wall and march those heels out, shake those legs. That's it. Oh, Chris, that was good. Chris was against the door, the window, and sliding up and down. That's lovely. That's a good way to do it. Okay, so we're going to stay by the wall. And we're going to start by our lovely arm. So we're going to slide down, so it's a sumo squat, but we start with the arms high up. And we're going to have to adapt this and see how you feel. So it's quite difficult. It makes it harder because your arms are up as well. So we're going to come down into a squat. So feet are nice and wide. Can you come into that sumo squat, or as low as you can go? Push up, 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 up. Hands come up high. Adjust your feet. Work with it. Send those knees out. Bottom pushes away. Hands slide down as you bend and push up. And then push those hands right up away on the wall. Breathe. And go again. So lowering, bending, push those knees out. There's a tendency for those knees to come in. Push out, rest at the top. Rest at the top. If you wanted to push through those toes and rise, you can. Lowering down. Lovely. And pushing up. Up onto the toes. Excellent. Can you do a couple more? Really good. That's it. Reaching those hands up, up, up. And bending. Trying to keep those hands above you. That's it. Lovely. And then hold it there. Stay at the wall as we come into our glutes, our leg extension. So we're going to stay with hands on the wall. We're going to walk our legs, feet out, until you come into kind of a box position. Okay, so feet are under hips. Then I want you to think about those hips are facing forwards, okay, and they stay facing forwards, and we need to take the weight through one leg. So that knee is slightly off lock. We're going to slide the other leg away, lifting that foot up, up, up. Leg is straight, extended. And what happens is, as you lift, the hips want to tilt, the pelvis wants to tilt, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to keep those hips down, lift the leg, bring it in, and swap sides. So remember those hips, equal, facing forwards, flex through the foot, lift that leg, and lower. And alternate, so let me look at you. So alternate those legs. So a lovely stretch through the front of the arms, through the front of the shoulders, lovely. Think about length through those legs, from the hands on the wall to the foot at the back, right into the heel. Keep breathing. Excellent. Think about those hips, so try not to let them pull. Try not to let that hip lift up and out. Excellent. Excellent. And then come up to standing. Release. Release. Wiggle, jiggle. Just send the hips side to side here. Push them out one side and then the other. Good. And then let's circle them. So bend the knees, circle those hips one way and then the other. And then reverse. Good. And then the other way. So just releasing all that tension in the glutes, in the fronts of the hips. Lovely. Side to side. And we're still in standing and we're coming into our curtsy squat. So we're going to take the weight on one leg and we're going to start by just sending that foot behind you. If you've got hip problems, just directly behind or across, but slightly. Go with what you know you can do. Okay. Some people with hips aren't meant to cross bodies, flex more than 90 for a certain period of time, and step out wide. So I'm going to work through one leg. So I'm going to step right the way back and bend that knee. So a curtsy squat. So step wide and then lower. Come up. So lots of leg work today. Step back. So it's a long step back. Let me show you. So I'm actually stepping back quite a way, okay? It's not just behind. And we need to step wide, step long, so that we can bend that knee. It's easier on the knees if you can step long. And we've been practicing this. So can you drop that knee down? You don't have to. So working through the whole of this hip. Think about what that hip's doing. It's crossing itself. It's in. Change legs. Change legs. It's internal rotation. Lovely. Work with it. Work with that side. As always, one side might be better than the other. You might have more mobility. You might be stronger. Use your arms to help you balance. And we're really working on the joints of the leg here, the ankle, the knee, the hip, the pelvis, the other side. What are we doing with this one? So really pushing these legs to the outer points of mobilization. Okay, can we start to drop that knee? Don't worry if you can't. And then a big push up, using that strength in the legs to push you up. Step wide, drop down, push up and wide. Lovely. That's it. Lovely, Chris. Lovely, Mary. Just lift in and lower in. And then come out. Oh, good work. Okay, so we are going to come down onto the floor. So take your time coming onto your knees. However that may be, gracefully dismount, as Helen says. Gracefully get down on the floor. So, working through Dolphin Pose today. So, you know, we normally come into downward facing dog. So start in a box position. And then we're going to come onto the elbows. So elbows come onto the floor and the whole of the forearm is on the floor. And hands can be together, or you can pop your hands onto the floor. And then we send the bottom back. Send the bottom back and drop the shoulders. Feel that stretch into the armpits, into the shoulders, all around the shoulders, into the backs of the hips, the back of the pelvis, into the lower back. Then we're going to transfer weight forwards. You might need to adjust your hands. Coming forwards, not dropping the hips so you're dipped, but keeping tension on through the belly, through the core. The weight is through the kneecaps into a 3/4 plank. And we push back into Dolphin Pose. Adjust those elbows, send the bottom back, wiggle, jiggle, move those hips side to side. You can drop one shoulder, one armpit down to the floor as you move the hips and just get some lovely movement through the shoulders, through the hips. And then we move forwards, transition into that 3/4 plank. Pull the belly in. Relax the toes, but toes, the tops of the feet are resting on the floor. Push back. And then to progress, send the hips back. If you want to try it, then we just start to straighten off the legs. Straighten off the legs. So the bottom is in the air. Weight is on the balls of the feet. And into the forearms. Pushing away. Push those shoulders away. So strong shoulders. And then coming into that 3/4 plank. You can drop the knees. You can drop them one at a time, or come right down onto both knees. Send the hips back into dolphin. Almost like a child's pose. And then lifting the hips. Lifting, lifting. Lovely. Drop the knees, come forwards while I watch you. That's it. Coming back, back, lifting up the hips one more time. Pushing the hips up, up and back. Lovely. Really lovely. Coming onto your arms and coming onto your sides. Fabulous. Good. So into a side lion position. So I'm on my elbow, I'm on my hip. My knees are bent and my hips are flexed. I'm going to start to take that arm up and reach up. So as you reach up, push that shoulder away, the arm that you're supporting yourself on the floor. And then can we lift the hips up? So lift the hips up. If you want to be on the feet as well, you can. So you can come into a full plank with the legs extended. I'm going to stay on my knees. So lift the hips off the floor, reach the hands up, push the shoulder away, and then drop down, bring the arm down. And again, so it's a slow flow, lifting the arm, push the shoulder away, reach the hands up, lift the hips up, pull that waist away from the floor, lower down, drop the arm. Okay, one more time. We're going to stay up this time. So lift the arm, push that hand away, push through the shoulder, lift the hips, extend that top leg, and then we're going to lift that top leg and lower. So lift the arm, the top arm can be up or just supporting you in front on the floor. It's up to you. And we've got 4 more. 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. Drop the hips, drop the hand. Crumple in a heap. We're going to change sides. So however you'd like to move onto the other side. So weight through the elbow again. And just keep that shoulder strong, okay? And I mean, what do I mean by that? So when we're tired, we start to dip into the shoulder, but I want you to really send it away. So strength, some distance between the shoulder and the chin. Bend through the hips, the knees, start to lift that arm, and then we lift the hips off the floor. Reach, extend, lower, and drop the hip, drop the hand. And again, so lovely flow, push, use those muscles around the core, around the waist to lift and lower you. Push, push, so strong through the core, strong through the shoulders. Okay, this time we're going to lift and hold. We're going to extend that top leg, lift and lower that foot. Lift and lower, lift. So thighs are kind of not quite level, but lift. And 3, and 2, and 1. And rest. Rest, rest. Okay. You're nearly done. Nearly done. So lie on your backs and just come into a bridge. So start to lift. So lie down, bring the heels into the bottom. And then just start to lift the bottom, lift the pelvis, lift the hips into that pelvic tilt. And lifting off the floor into the shoulders, squeezing those knees together and lowering down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Releasing at the bottom. Moving. Just moving those hips side to side if you need to. Adjusting the feet. So lifting into bridge. And we're just going to practice that a couple more times. So lift, 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 pelvic tilt, rising, squeeze at the top, push those hips up at the top, lowering, releasing, lift, lift. And then we're going to come into a reverse curl. So we're going to lift those feet, try to lift the bottom off the floor, legs lower and into the bridge. And to start with, you won't get much movement. Into bridge, push up, 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 squeeze the bottom at the top, lower down into a reverse curl. So we lift the feet, knees, push down on the floor, lift the bottom off the floor. So an opposite movement. Back down into bridge. Really working through that bridge, pushing the hips, squeezing the bottom a little bit higher every time, lowering down evenly, lifting the feet, lifting the bottom off the floor, and hold it there. Arms are going to come wide, and just lift those knees into tabletop. And we drop those knees away to one side. Just let them rest on the floor. Feel that stretch into the armpit. Take the eye gaze in the opposite direction. Keeping those knees, feet together. Lift those knees back up to tabletop. Try not to let them draw into your belly too much. Lowering, sorry, I've got a creak. Lowering over to the other side. Take your eye gaze into the opposite direction. Hold it there. Enjoy that stretch. Lifting the knees, we're going to go one more each side. Keep those knees away from the chest. Eye gaze opposite direction. Can you take that top leg, extend the foot away, extend the leg. Relax into it, let those shoulders drop. Let them rest against the floor. Knees come together, feet together. Draw those knees over the body to the other side. Send the eye gaze away. Straighten off that top leg. Feet come to the middle. And we're going to roll over onto our bellies for our last movement before we relax. Arms go wide. And you know this one. So into scorpion. So arms can come wide or wherever is comfortable for you. And again, you can turn your palms up if it helps, especially when we lift that leg over. So just start to prepare. So we bend through the knee, we flex the foot, and we lift that thigh off the floor, pushing the heel up towards the floor, the ceiling, and send that leg over behind you, trying to get that foot to reach the arm, the hand. Lift, lift, lift that leg. Lift it high. Lower it back to the starting position. Adjust. Other leg. Squeeze. So bend the knee. Squeeze. Flex that foot. Lift that leg back and over. I can touch that side. And take your time, in your own time. Side to side. Lifting. Lifting. And taking that foot over. Getting the stretch in the front of the leg. Squeezing that heel up towards the ceiling as we move over. Lovely. One more each side. And then rest. Rest onto your backs, on a sofa, on a bed, wherever is most comfortable for you. Find a top if you need to. Okay. Take some deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really fill your lungs and let it go. Some long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. And just settle your body with each breath. Allow the body to rest into the floor or into your mat a little bit more with each breath out. I'm just going to read a little guidance to you. So still with your breath, just taking a moment just to listen to the words. If your mind wanders, don't worry, that's fine. Just come back to the breath. When she was attuned to her frequency, she knew when she needed to sit. Fuzzy, wavy lines, awkwardness digged through her. Straightening it was her priority. Tuning into her higher self. Sitting, breathing. A clearer line of light to source. Noticing every other channel, confusing her connection as she stilled. Breath, cacao, intention. Feeling her way back into the stream, flooding with energy, fizzing, vibrational source language, plugged back in, swimmy, floaty relief. And with cacao flowing through her body, the sun fell on her deliciousness, as if to bless her personally, to honour her holy sacredness, to hold space for her and hold her gaze for that most sacred and powerful opening. And as she held, she rose, ever deepening, wider circles of rippling waves and dizzy joy. Overflow, taking her to her core, shaking and shaken, taken and breathless and full, with cacao flowing through her body. And just come back to your breath, starting to waken up the body, ready to come into a seated position. Taking your time to just rise into a comfortable place, rolling through the shoulders, maybe stretching out through the chest, through the shoulders, taking a breath in and a long breath out, and just bring your hands into your heart space. Namaste. Happy weekend to you all. Well done for joining us. Take care.